Let's find out about our next finalist.
I'm Danny Leckie, CEO of Hatch for Hunger, a national nonprofit focused on bringing reliable access to animal protein to food banks and food pantries across the country.
Please give a great ovation for Danny Leckie, CEO of Hatch for Hunger.
Well, thank you. You guys seem like a lively bunch. So we're going to kick this off with a little bit of an exercise here. I want everybody for 1 minute to just close your eyes. And I want you to imagine a little boy, and his name is Rowan. He's 8 years old. He's waking up and it's Friday morning, and he dreads Fridays. Other kids in his class, they love Fridays. Why does Rowan dread Friday? Because he knows when he gets home from school today, he won't know where his next meal will come from for likely the next 60 hours. Could you imagine that reality? Rowan is constantly hungry. He is running on empty. He is relying on his family who are working so hard, but it's a 2-hour round trip bus ride to get food for him. And he goes into the weekend not knowing where his next meal will come from. You see, Rowan is chronically, I'll say, hangry this time. Who here has been hangry? How did you feel? Did you feel motivated? Did you feel happy? Did you feel irritated? You know, I think this is a reality that so many people face, yet we haven't found the right innovations to address it. And there's a quote here from one of our partners in Philadelphia, actually. And it says, "Food insecurity threatens every fiber of our social infrastructure, our public health, education, and development." That's a powerful statement. You cannot address the upstream effects, the mental health issues, the health issues, the education issues, the challenges with financial stress, if you first don't address the root cause of what is affecting that community. And for us, that's going to be changing how people access food, and we address food insecurity. See, the reality here in Marion County is a stark one. 1 in 5 children, 23% of children in Marion County today are food insecure. During the pandemic, it was 1 in 8. So we're not making progress. And the stat that has really driven this project for us is that people who live on the far east side of Indianapolis have a 17-year less, said that right, 17-year less life expectancy than the individuals who live in the northern suburbs of Indianapolis. And in 2024, that can't be the reality that we face. We have to find a way to fix this issue. And so Hatch is coming together with great partners, Cafe and others, to launch a program. And this is called the Community Grocery Program. And it's emergency food access for neighbors who sign up and they receive a card. And they sign up through a link. There's no financial barriers. There's no time barriers. We allow people to meet them where they are, and they receive the food that they need to help support their family. These are 4 vending coolers. Okay, these coolers are converted so that when you scan that card, it unlocks and you can receive always milk, cheese, eggs, and fruits and vegetables for you and your family. And here's just an illustration of where these coolers are placed. So the yellow pins here are where the coolers are placed today, with strategic partners who have incredible reach to the most vulnerable neighbors in our community. The blue pins represent the grocery stores. So there's been considerable disinvestment in this area, and it makes it very difficult for families to actually access and get the proper food that they need. In the bottom right-hand corner here, you can see the excitement that we have as we launched our first cooler. Kendra Knoll, CEO of Cafe, this was a brainchild of hers and mine, and we were just so excited to share that moment. And when we had that day, there was a local public official, and that public official came to us and was so compelled to share a story that when he was a little boy, he was sent to the grocery store with a grocery list, and no money. And he had convinced himself that he was going to come home with food that night, even if he didn't get it. But luckily, he got that food. And that was 30 years ago. Can you imagine the tough decisions that our children are making today in our communities, that if they had a cooler that could provide themselves food, that's a path they don't have to go down. That's a decision they don't have to make. And I just want to share, this is our ribbon cutting. We have public officials, we have community organizations, we have the families that are accessing this cooler. Right now, this cooler is supporting 17 families, 250 pounds of nutritious food every week for the last 4 weeks. And the impact is just growing and growing, and people are signing up in droves. And so we're working to break this cycle. So $40,000 will help fund this program for the next 4 years. 1,200 pounds of food will be delivered weekly, and 1,000 individuals will be impacted. And let's just wrap this up really quick. Rowan is now walking towards the light. He's walking towards the light. He can see the light. He can feel the light that all of his friends feel, because this cooler is now in his community. He has food in his fridge. He has eggs in his fridge for the first time in months. And he's now excited for Friday. He's excited for the weekend, and he's excited for summer. Together with everybody here, we can make this a reality. Thank you.
So you talked about having partners, but where is your current funding coming from?
Yeah, so great question. This particular project, we received funding from United Way through the Social Innovation Fund. Currently today, we have $35,000 left to support the purchase of food. And also Cafe received a cooler grant as well, and food grant from Rotary Club of Indianapolis. And they have roughly about $20,000. So about $55,000 left to help purchase food. And at the current trajectory that we're on, that alone will carry us for 4 years. But with 40,000 more, we can continue this on and put more coolers into place for the next 4 years.
Yeah, I really like the cooler concept. It's very innovative. Do you have like is there something that tells you technologically when it's empty and when it needs to be replenished, or how do you go about that process?
Yeah, so we have community liaisons who are there on site, who are checking the cooler. And right now we're on a weekly cadence. And the community also gets cards. And so we can also see how much food, how often the coolers are being accessed. And we know roughly from that as well when we need to start to place these orders.
Really appreciate the work that Hatch is doing, not just to dig into their own community, but to also reach out to a community that is not in Hamilton County, where we know there's a lack of food access. By a show of hands, who has ever heard of a food desert? Okay, good. By a show of hands, who has heard of food apartheid? Less hands. Take that as a pitch to have a conversation later at the after party event. All right, because there is a difference. If you don't know and you saw someone's hand go up, maybe ask them, because it's an interesting conversation. But really, again, really appreciative of the work that they're doing to tackle food and to make sure we're providing crucial access to our neighbors, especially on the far east side, and hopefully it'll be expanding into other communities as well.